or such as the alpha that we've seen from them in the past in the jungle.
Well, Samuel is going to be banned away here. It's not something that's been banned very often in this tournament. What is the logic behind that one, guys?
I think what they're really looking to do there is take away a pick that is one of those picks that can work into any composition, a very flexible pick. We talk about the flex picks that can be played multiple different styles, and Samuel's one of those heroes that can do that, but there's going to be the Celeste taken away from Kraken and challenge them, saying, you know what, this is your pick, we're going to beat you with it.
Yeah, but with Celeste being picked up, Taka looks pretty good right now, open, even though Arden could work well to defend the Celeste. And then we also have Verona also open, and Vox. Vox can jump onto that Celeste with a Lyra portal, and we saw Kraken lose to Vox when G2 played that so well to get onto the Celeste and just blow her up. Yeah, so let's see if that Vox does come out here.
This Celeste pick here is pretty risky, even with the Rona pick. I mean, yes, you're going to have a very strong late game advantage with the range, but you're also playing against the Lyra, who's going to be able to sustain through the poke damage you're outputting. On top of that, with her portal, she can close the gap very effectively for her team, getting the entire team right on top of you and just bursting you down.
Yeah, so Taka, Reza, Koshka all look pretty solid here right now for Kraken, because they're mobile, they have a lot of early aggression, and they can get on that Celeste pretty easily.
Yeah, either that or they go for someone with a lot of CC, but it is going to be the Koshka to come out. A hard dive composition for Kraken in game number 1. Again, this is the team that likes aggression. They like to go hard early, and this is a composition that can do just that.
Yeah, the only option now, Impunity can either do like a weapon lance or a glaive to protect Celeste better, or even Cruel.
Cruel would be a great pick.
Kind of, lock down the Koshka or lock down the Rona. Those are probably the best picks they have. And they're actually going with Baptiste here. So double CP. That's very interesting pick.
Very interesting and very risky to go with against a Koshka and a Rona. Both of them are going to be more than happy to just build a whole bunch of shielding and survive the damage that comes out while they're diving onto the Celeste.
And we saw yesterday Rona actually built a Shiver Steel and an Aegis, making her extra tanky and extra, do well defensive against CP damage.
Yeah, exactly. She was incredibly difficult to take down. Now double CP going on into this one. It's about that time, gentlemen. I'm going to ask you for your predictions coming on into this one. Iraqi, we'll start with you.
I mean, it's looking great for my favorites going into the series right here. Kraken definitely have the better draft, in my opinion, with the Rona, the Koshka, and the Lyra going to be able to play very aggressive throughout the early and mid game. Then late game, just teleport on top of the Celeste and eliminate her.
I will preface this by saying it is only game 1, just so that the crowd here doesn't get fully against me, but I do think it is going to be Kraken taking game number 1.
Kraken it is.
3 for Kraken here on the analyst desk, but I'm pretty sure the crowd is voting for Impunity in this one. It's time to pass it up to our casters. It is time to get into the second semi-final, or second quarterfinal of today, and get this series underway.
Thanks, guys. Let's get into the game. Kraken versus Impunity. 3-0 on the desk. Honestly, I'm quite surprised considering Impunity's performance yesterday.
I mean, Impunity were awesome yesterday. I definitely feel like they drafted themselves into a box that time round, though. You had the Rona, you had the what's the other one? Rona and I've forgotten already. But no, Rona and I've already forgotten. Don't know how I've already forgotten. But they basically boxed themselves into a draft and then had to pick Baptiste. They couldn't really go weapon power. There wasn't really anything else that was pretty good at dealing with a double melee. So you had to go Baptiste. You box yourself in with a double CP. But this is something that the SEA meta is kind of used to. When me and Dowsey did the spring SEA finals, there was a lot of double CP coming out. We had sometimes had Sky, we had Celeste. It's pretty amazing.
Well, we're going to jump onto the fold. Game number 1. This is a best of 5 as well, Scoundrels. There's going to be a lot of room to play for.
Koshka, there we go. Sorry, my mind blanked at the start there.
It's okay.
But it's super aggressive. It's super dive heavy. They have the ability to speed up Rona, which is obviously great with the Lyra. But this is what I mean about boxing yourself in, though. Obviously, Baptiste is really good against Koshka in the early jungle. It's very good at turning the tides with that fearsome shade. I wouldn't be surprised to see DeathQ potentially pick up a Echo. It looks like he's actually maybe going weapon power Baptiste here. I don't know whether this is for simply just early jungle clear, but you would never usually go anything other than 2 crystal bits if you're not a CP Baptiste. This could genuinely be weapon power Baptiste. Weapon power Baptiste hits like a truck, especially during his soul collection. So this could be crazy. I mean, SEA meta, my goodness.
Well, Impunity, as soon as they took the Elder Treant, the crowd erupted. Team Kraken moving in though. Defq taking a lot of damage. Nice core collapse. Trapped in the Ordain as well. Mr. Dog is going to be able to just fire a couple of bolts Defq's way, but won't be finding too much off of that. As soon as Impunity do anything good, the crowd just...
I know, but it is the home team. You know, you have to give credit to the home team where credit is due. They did an amazing, amazing job yesterday. And they're looking to do the same here against Team Kraken. One of those teams that coming into the top core tournament were relatively unknown. These guys were almost unheard of. They hadn't really had much sort of, I guess, world screen time, if you will, so we didn't really know where their meta was going to be. They came out swinging. They were incredible in their performances. And here we go.
Defq going fairly aggressive. Uh-oh, Babylon might be in a little bit of trouble. Eldertrian takes a smack on him as well. Does pop the flask in the end. Eldertrian gets taken, but it gets taken by Defq, and he finds first blood. Oh, a core collapse on more as well. Not sure we can follow that one up with the Celeste.
The more and more I think about this Weapon Power Batiste, the more and more I like it. The one thing that Weapon Power Batiste has holding him back is that it's so difficult for him to close gaps as a Weapon Power carry. Therefore, he's often exploited with having that poor range, you know, compared to these sort of range carries like Vox. This is a all-in melee composition from Team Kraken. Weapon Power Batiste doesn't need to close the gap. Team Kraken are going to do it for him, and he can smack them in the face with that super hard-hitting scythe. That's a really intelligent pickup from Defq. I can't wait to see how it works when he gets a couple more items behind him.
Quarterfinals did end up actually taking the first blood, so he gets a little bit of extra gold. And now, Mr. Dog just taking a little bit of harassing lane. This is actually what we saw Kraken do yesterday as well. Nice rotations to make sure the Rona is not alone in the lane in the 1v1 or the 2v2 versus Celeste. You're more often not going to lose in that situation. They are going to be able to secure the second Elder Tree in the game.
It's funny you say that, but Rona actually hits Celeste really hard in lane because she's got a decent amount of gap closes and you can dodge around that core collapse and hit her and get out very, very quickly. We talked about Quarterfinals being a mad scientist of a player, especially for his team, bringing things that you just don't see in competitive play elsewhere. This is another one of those examples where I think the Quarterfinals draft has come through, and it's actually something that is almost an experiment. Now, if you talk to some European players, I'm looking at you, Raf, they will say that Weapon Power Batiste is actually really good and a bit of a sleeper. I'm looking forward to seeing Defq pilot this. He could actually go Poison Shiv pretty easily. You know, I think you're going to need a Poison Shiv in this Lyra composition. Double CP would have been unwise without the Poison Shiv. So I think you can go Poison Shiv here for Defq. You bring that mortal wounds to the team, which is super important versus the likes of a Rona and a Lyra, and then you just have a big, heavy-hitting distraction while your Celeste goes to town on the back end of your team.
You mentioned before, Kraken being a relatively unknown team in China, really come out in day number one. They look so strong. Their early aggressive jungle style and early aggressive vision as well was something to be admired in all honesty. But coming up against Impunity, 2 of the 3 players, they've been to Worlds before. They've got all this experience on the stage. We'll see if that does come into play. Mr. Dog actually is going to be able to pick up that Crucible as his first item to get the additional healing, something we see in NA and the EU a fair bit.
And it's not just that, it's that you get a decent amount of healing from your sigil on a single target, but you also have the ability to block a lot of CC earlier than you would do usually. And obviously against the likes of an Arden, a Celeste, and a Batiste, a Crucible is going to come in a huge amount of use, especially if you're going to be fighting in sort of the early portion of this game. So having that Crucible early on is going to give you the ability to find these fights, especially in a vulnerable, heavy melee composition. You can get through the Ordained, you can get through the Fearsome Shade, all of which is going to be massively important to your mid-game success of the team.
Well, now Impunity, they are just going to be able to split these backs, and Quisi is going to get the back off as well. Going to pick up that reflex block, very important. But something we actually didn't see from a lot of teams that ran into the Koshka yesterday on day number 1 was picking up that early reflex block, and he's doing just that, just to make sure Babala cannot get on top of him as soon as he hits that level 6.
Yeah, really intelligent stuff. I learned very early on from North Americans that if you don't have a reflex block by level 6 against the Koshka, somebody is going to die. So Quisi bringing that early, as is Defq, like he said. Looks like he's going towards a breaking point first here, so maybe not going to go for the Poison Shiv early on. I personally would love to see that come out at some point in this build. Like I said, the healing is going to be over the top if they don't have any ways to sort of shut that down.
There's the Aftershock power spike here, picked up for the Koshka, so now she's hitting that level 6 also. So looking for something in the lane. Be fairly imperative, but Quisi knows exactly where he is, and Quarterfinals is just going to be able to help him back off as well. And we'll see where DefQ is here. He's just actually just farming away, just making sure he can get the levels, hitting level 6 rather soon as well. Nice Ordain's actually going to find the stun on Babbler as well, just chunking away. Bad mojos aren't going to hurt, but his scythe definitely is. Nice use of the...
He didn't block it!
There's the red mist as well. Gets opened up. Fist from Shape from over the wall. Cool Collapse doesn't quite land, but there's the kill. They find it. Mua does find the initial entry frag, and Quisi does end up going down, but Quarterfinals and DefQ are safe underneath this turret for the time being.
Yeah, a little bit of a mishap there for Quisi. Didn't block that yummy catnip frenzy, and that allowed Team Kraken to be super aggressive, pick up that kill, go for the tower dive, and not going to get punished for it either. DefQ's use of his fearsome shade was really good to zone out the majority of the Team Kraken members, but it was not enough. Too much damage had already gone down.
And Babbler's coming back to the turret. Ordain's actually going to find the stun. Beautiful Ordain from DefQ is going to find the kill on Babbler as well. Gets the last basic attack in Impunity. They find the next kill.
This is why people consider Baptiste good against Koshka. It shuts down everything that makes Koshka good. Her movement speed, her gap closing ability, that's really put to the sword with this.
Another beautiful Ordained. Mua opens up with a red mist, sustaining, using that Serpent's Mask. Can he find the kill on Quarterfinals? He does. Turns it around, but DefQ slings a bad mojo his way and picks the one for the trade.
If that's not going to convince you to buy a Poison Shiv, I don't know what is.
Oh, Babbler's going to go in. Yummy Candy Frenzy isn't going to get blocked. Does get stunned up. DefQ going fairly low. Core Collapse on top of himself, so doesn't mean Dog and Babbler can get any more damage off. Impunity, they do trade 1 for 1 in that engage.
Back off, everything even Stevens at this point in time. We are going to see Quisi actually sharing backs quite frequently here. He wants to ramp that build up, going towards what I imagine is going to be either a Shatterglass or a Dragon's Eye here. Frostburn is actually, although it's not popular on Celeste, not an awful choice in this scenario, given how much the Team Kraken composition relies on movement speed.
Poison Shiv now being picked up by DefQ, so this is the anti-heal that they really need against the Lyra and Rona. You saw how much damage Mu was actually putting out, and he's going to be able to put out a lot more now as he's got that breaking point. And even a Dragon's Eye now finished for Quisi.
Dragon's Eye is a super powerful item, especially once you finish up the clockwork. You can hear the crowd. They are so far behind Impunity. They've done so well to get here. They had some incredible performances yesterday. This will be a win. If they take this series, they'll be putting the Southeast Asian, the Singapore home team, into a semi-final of the Vainglory World Championships. This is all after that massive boot camp that these guys had as well. Huge amount of practice going into this tournament. You can see that it has paid off. The team is playing at a level that I've just not seen them play at before.
Well, they're certainly showing up right now. However, I'm looking at the state of the map so far, although they do go for an engagement. Yummy Cannon Frenzy was, I think it was blocked there. Core Collapse does end up missing. The Gauntlet comes down. Also, Fearsome Shade gets completely blocked. Nice route from the EU tree, and Mr. DocTK can't help out the rest of his team, and Mua is going to fall, but he looks to try and find the kill on Celeste. He does find the double kill at the end, but it is Mr. DocTK with the retreat. Impunity, they find 2.
Quisi able to build those Dragon's Eye stacks, kite around his supernova explosions, and just unable to take him down at the end of the day. And all that time, DefQ hitting super hard. Let's take a look at the replay here. What's most impactful is realistically, the block, but also the Ardent Gauntlet. They managed to actually stop the Yummy Catnip Frenzy with an Ordained, and the Ardent Gauntlet stopped Rona on her initial engage, giving time for Quisi to reposition and play around these Heliogenesis. He hit so many impactful supernovas, and whilst they are trying to take the Celeste down, the weapon power Baptiste is right up in the face of that composition, hitting them like a truck over and over again. This is the beauty of adding this weapon power Baptiste here. It's something that we just doesn't see play, because again, it has very specific scenarios where it's good. Well, this happens to be one of those specific scenarios, Jaws.
5 and 3 already, Kraken. We know how aggressive they are early on, but Impunity matching that. They're very good at playing around their power spikes, and we've seen it thus far. In fact, now DefQ even picking up that breaking point, so really going to start hitting home.
And I just want to touch on why breaking point is a good item for weapon power Baptiste. You get a weapon power boost during your soul harvest. So when you get all of those souls and you have that small period where you have empowered basic attacks and empowered abilities, you get a weapon power boost. Naturally, a Poison Shiv and Breaking Point build would not stack good by itself. All Vox mains will know that. It's hard to stack a Breaking Point with this build, over a very short period of time. Baptiste is not going to have that problem because he's got that weapon power.
Passageway. Core Collapse actually lands on 2. Quisi finds out the Solar Storm as well. Gauntlet's going to lock them all in place. Mua opens up with a red mist, but gets aggroed by the turret. Mr. Dog takes so much damage, and in fact, almost might go down to a minion if he's not careful. Quisi played that perfectly.
Still has his fountain available, but he's just going to wait this out. Might end up backing off. Rona's going to try and do her best to hold the wave up here. They don't want to allow that wave to get to the turret. Here comes
Babalu's
the
coming
Koshka.
back in. Oh, Koshka jumps in. It's going to get blocked, though. Yummy Candy Frenzy not quite finding the mark. DefQ's going to wander his way up from the jungle. Also, no fearsome shade. Means he can't really be that much of an impact if he doesn't get close in range. However, Mr. Dog CK has come back.
Nearly at war treads as well from Mr. Dog CK. I love his itemization priority here. He knows that movement speed is imperative. He's got the fountain, which is also good. Look at this turret, though.
Oh, there we go. First turret of the game. Impunity to take that one off the board. The range advantage you can see now against this double melee really starting to hurt for Team Kraken.
Going to start to push this wave, and again, already the advantage is lying with Impunity. It's a close game so far, though. Only 1,000 gold separating the two teams, but the time is on Impunity's favor. You just feel that this composition is going to scale that much better.
Ordain out of the fray is used. Mua and Mr. Dog should be all right. Sigils to heal him up, but Pablo was nowhere near.
And you feel like these team fights are very hard to actually navigate for Team Kraken. What do? Do you focus the Celeste and leave this Weapon Power Batiste to hit you in the face for huge amounts of damage? Or do you focus the Weapon Power Batiste and allow Celeste to rain destruction from the backline? Both of which are lose-lose situations for Kraken. I feel Kraken have a very limited time period where they just blow someone up straight away and then try and recuperate and focus their next target. I genuinely think the Impunity composition is fantastic here.
Oh, now they've hit another massive power spike. Court of War does have that echo online now, so it's even harder for Mua and this Koshka to actually get on the back line and actually kill the Celeste off. There's almost no way at this moment in time. Broken Myth being picked up here for... and Babala's actually on his way to actually pick up his own Broken Myth. Kwisi is going to be hitting like an absolute truck.
And also important to note the 2 Aegis is picked up by Mua and Baba.
Oh, passageway into the Bright Bulwark. Nice stun once again. The triple fearsome shade from DefQ. Mua finds his way to the back line. The gauntlet was good.
So good.
3-man stun from Court of War. They trade 1-for-1. Babalu solo over the wall. Court of War finds another gauntlet and DefQ hammers it home. The Koshka falls and Mua just can't heal quick enough. DefQ follows him up with some more damage. Didn't quite have the Ordain to finish him off.
And that's the power of the Weapon Power Batiste in these fights. You focus everything onto Kwisi and he just slams that destruction down. And again, it's that catch-22 for Team Kraken. It's a catch-22 in every single team fight. Both of these targets are high priority destructive killers. Which one do you focus? I don't think that's a question you can answer. Both of them need focusing.
So tough right now because he is 6-0. You can see all the pressure being focused on this Celeste. 0-3 right now on Kwisi. And DefQ's doing all the damage.
Exactly, but if you take DefQ down, then Kwisi's going to do that same level of damage. Both of them are so tough to deal with. And remember, this is a composition from Team Kraken that wants to play around Lyra sigils. They're going to be grouped up. They're going to play into supernovas. You know, playing into supernova areas. Again, it just feels like Impunity have actually somehow outplayed everybody, including us analysts, and brought an incredible composition to the table.
I just want to remind everybody, it was 0-3 people voted for Impunity.
Yeah, I know.
Team Kraken right now are going to be able to take that gold mine, and it was a full one as well, so 400 gold apiece for them, almost evening the gold lead at this current moment in time. And they haven't even taken a turret yet either.
Journey Boots and Shiver Steel picked up here for Team Kraken. Looks like their primary focus is going to be Celeste at any given opportunity.
Nice
Massive
Ordained.
heals.
Isn't going to find anybody else, though, as the Bright Ball did come out. Oh, it's just going in ham, though. There's the red mist on the back line. Kwisi's going to get focused once again. The fearsome shade didn't quite connect. They do end up crucibling it, but Kwisi's, that damage is insane. Forces Pablo out of the fight. The Ordain is landing on Mua, so he can't really do anything more. Kwisi finds the kill onto Pablo, and now they're going to be able to focus down DefQ if they can, but it doesn't matter. Passageway doesn't quite save the Koshka, nor does it save the Rona, and that'll be an ace. Impunity find it once again. They're going to be able to push it down the lane, and we're already 5 seconds away from the Kraken spawning as well.
Oh, I hope I get a replay of that. That was unbelievable. You've got to look at Quarterfinals. I think every time he's needed to get a gauntlet that has been super impactful, he's got a gauntlet that has been super impactful. Here we go. There's the replay. Thanks, production. I love you. Moving on. So they immediately go straight for the Celeste. Celeste is obviously the primary target for them. That was a bit of an initial engage there by Mua. He went a little bit further than his team could catch up to him, and that allowed Celeste to position in a way that allowed then the Gauntlet to separate out the teams. This Weapon Power Batiste still just destroying everybody if he's unfocused. That was a really good team fight for Kraken if everybody went in at the same time. If Koshka and Rona committed at the same time, they killed Celeste. and they potentially win the fight. Kraken gets taken by Impunity, uncontested. They're going to start to push down this lane. Impunity, what a performance at Worlds so far.
Really the home field advantage coming in. They did take the turret as well, so it's only this choke point one now that they need to secure. And here comes the range advantage. You can even hear the crowd. They're fully behind Impunity, as you can expect. Turret is going to get taken rather readily. Defq just slinging out a couple of bad mojos and a couple of ordains. The base has been broken. The passageway into the portal. The fearsome shade gets blocked. They're trying to find the kill onto Queesy's yet again. The Koshka ultimate does land. Yummy Cat Frenzy finds the kill. Ordain can't quite. Well, actually secures Babbler, in fact. And Mr. Dog CK trying to take out Defq. It's a 2v1. He finds another 20 breaking point stacks. Manages to trade another kill through, but the Kraken is still destroying their base. They're going to lose 2 turrets for this one, but they do manage to find the ace.
I mean, unbelievable focus from Team Kraken. Both of them went for the same target, but Quarterfinals gauntlets are just so good today. And let's look at how Team Kraken won that, though, because it is important to note that whilst obviously Impunity are having an unbelievable performance, a great draft, Team Kraken still have the tools to win this game. Team Kraken can still find that perfect engage, and that was almost that perfect engage. Both focuses onto Kesey straight away. Both focuses onto him. He didn't have a chance to use his reflex block for the Yummy Catnip Frenzy. He might have been able to survive if he had. That might be on him. But both Koshka and Rona jump onto the Celeste straight away. There's too much damage for them to deal with. Even the Arden Vanguard is not enough to keep her alive. That's what Team Kraken need to do over and over again in these fights to give themselves a fighting chance.
Oh, there's the passageway. Wartrons is going to get popped as well. They're going to go straight onto Queesy's, or at least try to. Nice core collapse. Actually stuns up Koshka in the first couple of moments. Defq going fairly low, but nice fearsome shade to actually disengage from Kraken.
Yeah, they just used the Crucible. They knew that fearsome shade was going to be a great disengage. That's one of the reasons that Batiste is good into these styles of compositions. Here's another engage.
Oh, there's the into the fray straight onto Queesy's. Does get the Vanguard for the movement speed boost. Babbler just focusing on this turret, but the Ordained locks him in place. Right, Bulwark as well is going to stop the snare. Core collapse ends up missing, but he's so low. Solar Storm comes through. Doesn't quite hit Babbler to finish him off, but Mr. Dog CK ends up running away regardless. There comes the... is that going to be a double Gordon? No, it is not for the time being. Another core collapse does land on Babbler. He jumps straight back in. He's going to sacrifice himself. Defq picks up his 9th kill, and Impunity still just pushing forward, finding kill after kill.
Defq's going to go in. We're not done.
Oh, Mu has to be able to turn this one around to 1v3 situation. Can he be the player Kraken needs? Core collapse finishes off Mr. Dog, and he's just trying to kill off Queesy, but he hasn't got enough damage. He uses into the fray to get a bit of distance, but Defq and Queesy should just be able to finish him off. Heliogenesis up to Heliogenesis. Ordained, and a basic attack will get the kill, and Impunity might just end it right here, right now.
This should be the first game going over to Impunity. They're going to push up. They're going to make it doubly sure as they push those minions with them. They can just tank this turret, but they want to make sure that this is going to be a secured victory for them. Koshka has respawned. It is up to Babbler.
Babbler 1v3. Impunity just take this first turret down. They're going to focus the crystal. No hope for Kraken right now. It's going to fall, and Impunity will start the series off with a win.
I think there will be many hats getting eaten at the desk today, because that was an unbelievable performance from Impunity.